our third guy that we're going to have. He's another third of the actions of illness. And he's a 3-time felon. His lucky number is 3. Also a 4-year veteran of the indie comedy scene as of last Sunday. Please help me welcome Mr. Larry George.
I could have a cigarette on stage. Haha. Well, you all look like you're having a blast. You know it's okay to laugh at these. These are called jokes, right? Thought I'd throw that out there. One of the first things you might notice about me is the large tattoo on my throat. It says, "Trust Jesus." Now, don't think too highly of me. That was a prison decision. Yeah, well, I was sitting in prison trying to decide what to let that nice Aryan Brotherhood gentleman tattoo on me. After he said, "Pick one." You don't argue, you just pick one. I thought, well, what's the most ironic tattoo I can have? When I get to hell? Yeah, I think "Trust Jesus" covers that one pretty well. There'll be a whole section of us down there with religious tattoos going, "This is some bull crap. God damned me." And I'll turn around and go, "Oh, hi, Dad. What are you doing down here? You don't have any tattoos?" "Well, son, I run this place." "Oh, you married into a gig." "Right. That's my stepmother is the devil joke. Don't worry, the feeling's mutual." Oh, my cigarette went out. Oh, I'm not going to take that to relight it. Oh. Yes, prison is not fun. I've been there twice. I've been married and divorced once. So some mistakes you only make once. But, no. As people know that I've been to prison, they see the tattoo and they know that it was from prison, and they tend to ask me, "Did you find God in prison?" I was like, "No, why? What'd he do this time?" I mean, I bet his buddy turned him in again, didn't he? 30 pieces of silver doesn't go nearly as far as it used to. That first trial, they really crucified him, though. The whole carpentry background came around to nail him in the end, didn't it? Yes, I know I'm in a religious community, and I'm still doing my Jesus jokes. Yeah, I kind of wonder if Jesus came back, what he'd think about some of the things we do, like some of our holidays, like take Halloween, for example. And I don't think he'd care for it, and it's not because of the paganistic aspects and all that. I believe it's because every time he tries to grab a handful of candy corn, more than half of it ends up on the ground. How'd you like to be the guy that has to explain M&Ms to him when he comes back? They melt in your mouth, not in your... Oh, never mind. Here, have a Snickers. You're not the same after you've been resurrected. Now, that's a deep Bible joke right there. That's a deep Bible joke. Took me a minute to write that one. Yes, I do have Jesus jokes. I think that's all of them, though. What else do I want to talk about? I said I am divorced. 18 years this year, this summer. Happily for about 8. About 8 years ago, her now second ex-husband, I'll let that one sink in, pause for dramatic effect. Her now second ex-husband, he called me up and said, "Man, you're never going to believe what she did." I said, "Man, try me. I married her first, remember? Man, she's been cheating on me and she's going to leave me." And when I stopped laughing, I said, "Man, you know, I've waited 10 years for this, I told you so." And that's when he became one of my better weed dealers. I say better, but you think a guy that stole your wife and kids has knocked $5 off a sack here and there. Uh-oh, we're losing the money. I might have to yell. I think you guys could hear me without it. It's not, a massive crowd to talk to. Yeah, he doesn't like me telling that joke, so, because he doesn't sell weed anymore. But, he didn't like me telling that joke because of the connotation of him selling pot. So I started describing him. A little short guy, used to be a DJ, always carrying around a Diet Dr. Pepper. That's right, she left me for Little Sweet. Little Sweet one. Yeah, poor little fella. She left him too, it's all good. I keep calling her a bad name, like the bad word for prostitute. And I say I gotta stop calling her that because I can't prove she ever got paid. I'm trying to censor myself. I see little ones around. So we'll move on to, I have 2 kids. I didn't say they're adults now. Yes, I'm that old. I at least look it because we went to see Brent and I. We hang out quite a bit, and we went and saw Avengers: Infinity War at the Circle Center Theater downtown, and the lady gave me the senior citizen discount. Now, mind you, I had about 7 inches of white goatee growing off my face, and I usually walk with a cane, but still, I don't think I look like I passed for 60. So that bothered me a little bit. You know, I was mildly offended. I was offended. I'm going to say it. I was offended, but I was offended the right way, you know, quietly and with my discount, instead of loudly and paying more. So, you know, I said, you know what, I'm shaving it off. Got rid of the goatee. Went back and saw Deadpool 2, and she did it again. I'd like to think she maybe had a crush on me, but if that was the case, she would have gave me the student discount instead of the senior citizen discount. Ah, mercy. No, I'm not as high as I look, by the way. I'm a lot higher. No, I always look high. I've had my face reconstructed. That's a good story to tell. Yes, I learned a life lesson. The life lesson was, in 2012, I learned this. 37 is too old for a house party with a bunch of 25 and under. Very much so. You see, the night started wonderfully. I won the first 3 games of beer pong with 3 different partners. And the reason for that is I grew up in an era where every weekend I watched Bozo the Clown, and I was in my garage practicing for that grand prize game. So I can throw a ping pong ball. So they kicked me off the table. No big deal. I sat down. Next to me, they sat down 150 lemon drop Jello shots. Now, I'm no longer a drinker. I do not partake in alcohol. But I looked at those like it was like a drunk Miley Cyrus at 3 a.m., you know. A bad idea, but I'm probably going to do it anyway. I lost count. I can't really tell you how many of those I had. But my last memory of that night, I was standing in the driveway talking to a gay black friend of mine. And why I mention these gay and black has zero bearing on this story. I just like to illustrate the diversity of my friends. And I'm standing there talking to him, and the very next thing I know, I'm handcuffed to a hospital bed, unable to see out of my left eye or breathe out of my nose. So I have all titanium plates and screws in my nose and a plastic eye socket now because I evidently made them angry. I don't know. I lost 6 hours of memory. It was 6 hours between my last memory and my next one. And I lost 53 days in jail. It was a whole different... it was for that night, but they somehow charged me with stuff that I couldn't fight it. I couldn't remember it. But I do know that plastic surgery hurts. And now I always look high because they had to operate on my eyes. So I figured I might as well just stay high. Now, I don't partake of cannabis recreationally. And what I mean by that is I've had Crohn's disease now for 30 years. That's a shitty disease. Just going to say it right out there. It's a horrible pun, but I'm going to use it anyway. And it is, medicinally, it helps me. Now recently, yes, I'm going to do this dark material tonight. Recently, I had a, we'll call it a death scare. Crap, I didn't start my recorder. Oh yeah, I did. I had, we'll call it a death scare. I was in the emergency room late at night for Crohn's related issues, or well, it ended up being that, but the doctor said, well, you couldn't find anything with your Crohn's, but here, also, before you leave, you've got the vertebrae pushing on your spine and your neck. Not as big a worry as the tumor we found on your pancreas. So I started doing some Googling, and that's like 94% fatal tumors on the pancreas. So I'm like, well, crap. Well, it took 2 weeks to get an MRI. Got the MRI, went and saw my doctor. Disappeared. Completely gone. In the 6% where it just goes away. So I'm starting to think I did this whole thing wrong. Because when they told me I had tumors on my pancreas, and I said, oh crap, I'm going to die, I was happy. Like, finally, there actually is a God and He answers prayers. I've been dealing with this chronic illness for 30 years. I've been praying for Him to kill me with something a lot quicker. It finally answered. So I posted it on Facebook, and my 4,500 Facebook friends prayed that I'd be alright, and they won. I think I should be mad at them. I was like, man, I'm going to live? Dang it. That's not fair. mercy, mercy. Let's get back to my children. My daughter, she's the oldest. She's 21. She'll be 22 in October. She was always a straight A student, National Honor Society. She was 4 years marching band. She actually marched in the Rose Bowl parade, and she was invited. It's not like she just jumped in and went with the flow. They invited her. But by the time she got to college, she had 17 scholarships. Her whole first year was completely paid for. Now she's Air Force intelligence. So it just does go to show you can drop them once. 8-month-olds are squirmy, and I caught her on the first bounce, so, no harm, no foul. I mean, she's only like 5'1", but I don't think that was my fault. Yeah, before she was born, we were, young parents. I was like 21, I believe, and I was a nerd, probably still am. This is a disguise, the tattoos, and I'm not a bad boy. As somebody once, when I was young, told me that chicks dig tattoos. He was lying. Same guy later told me that girls like a bad boy. Girls might, but a grown woman wants you to have your act together. That's why I'm single. My act is not together. So that's I got that going for me. I tell jokes. Oh, is this Brent's set list? Got it all. No, I read the book, What to Expect When You're Expecting. And in that book it said to play music for the baby in the womb. And I think I might have played too much Led Zeppelin, because when my daughter came out, the doctor cleaned her up and he slapped her on the ass and she went, ah! Ah! I love that joke. Led Zeppelin. Led Zeppelin fans know what I mean. They get it. I also have a son. He's 19 now. He's in the Navy. He's in A school. He's in the Navy. So once again, his life made full circle. He's a seaman again. Had to make, that's a dad joke. I'm a dad. I have to do at least one dad joke. And, I'm real proud of him. He wanted to try stand-up comedy, and last year, about this time actually, I think it was about a year ago, yesterday or day before, I was on house arrest. Shocker. I know it's a shocker. I said independent distributor in the pharmaceutical industry. They called it drug dealing. It's neither here nor there. I served my time. It's behind me. I can talk about it now. I'm out of trouble. But I was on house arrest. I put a show on at my house. It was a roast of me, and my son ended up roasting his mom with this golden joke. I want to tell it. I think this is the place to tell his joke. Now remember, he was 18 years old when he wrote this joke. He says, I recently went to a high school party and had my first experience with a beer bong. I was so worried about it, but it ended up going down easier than my mom. I'd never been more proud of my son in that moment right there. He knows her so well. He knows his mom. Yeah. He wrote some other jokes, but I think I was still laughing from that, and I missed the rest of them. Yeah, he's a good kid. He's a great kid. He's like 6 foot tall, 185 pounds, real good looking, so I think we need a DNA test on that one. And I try to prove my daughter gets her brains from me by writing like physics jokes, but the punchlines always come up theoretical. Hate when that happens. Having had Crohn's for 30 years now, I've heard about every expression you can think of for bathroom terminology: taking a crap, taking a dump, taking a leak. I think all the expressions are a bit barbaric, a little archaic. It's time we updated them. It is 2018. Let's move them into the digital age with everything else. I propose from now on, and this is the one thing you'll remember, we use the phrases logging out and streaming. Right? Makes your bathroom conversation so more interesting anyway. Hey man, can I use your bathroom? Oh, what are you doing? Are you logging out or are you streaming? Because if you're logging out, I need you to use the upstairs with the plunger and the spray. I've heard about that Crohn's. One walk-in fart clears off a school bus and you're tagged for life. That was a good freshman year though. That was fun. Had everybody, even the driver, off the bus yelling at me to put the windows down, but I was too busy laughing. Fun stuff. It's about 15 minutes. I think I'll leave you guys with the reason I do this. I started comedy 4 years ago. Last Sunday was my first time on stage, and I was so nervous then you couldn't have got a stick in up my ass with a jackhammer. That's neither here nor there. picture. But, I started it because as a teenager I spent a lot of time in Riley Hospital for Children, and I watched comedy all the time, and I believe laughter is the best medicine, and I believe it helped me to heal, and it's kept me relatively healthy all these years. And I said one day I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna give that back, that laughter, healing that I was given. And I continue doing it now, 4 years later, because I am so addicted to the laughter and the applause. And it's small groups like this. I usually say audiences, but we'll say small groups like this, and nights like tonight, or early evenings like today. I just got to thank you all for not feeding my addictions. But no, remember, you can't say hilarious without saying Larry. I'm Larry George, folks. That's my time.